It's time to get lost in the Midcard. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where the bidding war for 2024 has gotten a lot more interesting.
Has it though?
Maybe. It has lost the mid-card. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Welcome, Matt Black over there at Raw of Showtime on the Twitter. I am Jeremy Bennett at JB Huskers on the Twitter. Make sure to give us a follow and, enjoy the ride. Of course, a lot of a very busy weekend of very heavy AEW weekend. Thanks for everybody that's tuning in live here on Lost to the Midcard. We got Gamer Bear. We got Steven Elimination Chambers. We got Mark Cho. And
all the people in his house. Yeah, appreciate you all.
Thank you for tuning in. To tell your friends if you're listening on demand. You can always catch us live if you are able to. We are live every Monday night before Monday Night Raw, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Make sure to give us an Orange Casty thumbs up on the YouTube. Put some comments on the YouTube. Help us spread the word. We have just crossed over 500 subscribers on YouTube. So go to. I don't know if Rick's done his giveaway yet. So I would check and see. Go at Rick Uccino and see if he has done that. I'm not sure. Let me double check here because he is giving away $100 to the WWE shop, or I think he must have gave it away because it's not pinned anymore. So, well,
congratulations to whoever won. Yeah,
yeah, congrats to whoever won that. I'm not sure. I'm looking through his tweets here. Real quick here. This is some entertaining stuff, but well, I mean, if you won, you were contacted via Twitter because you had to retweet his tweets. So anyways, congrats whoever won that there. Busy week. Of course, AEW had a Full Gear this weekend. A lot of the news this week is centered around AEW. We do have a couple of WWE tidbits, but let's, and as Mark Cho is correct, this show, Lost in the Midcard, is your official lead into Monday Night Raw. Let's get into it. We got AEW Full Gear taking place in New York, New Jersey this weekend, and overall, I got to say, Matt, it was a damn good show.
I enjoyed the show overall, but a lot of the praise I've seen coming out of the show, I just don't necessarily agree with it. Like, I thought it was good. Overall, enjoyable, solid pay-per-view from AEW. But in terms of, like, I saw people calling it pay-per-view of the year for AEW's best pay-per-view ever. I'm just like, I strongly disagree with those assessments. But it is what it is.
I don't think it was pay-per-view of the year. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think it was.
I definitely don't think it was.
It was a great show, though.
No, it was a good pay-per-view full with a lot of great wrestling.
Yeah.
But I just like some of the praise I saw after the show. I'm just like, man, I don't feel like I watched the same show as some of these people did. And look, I'm great. I'm glad people liked the show as much as they did. I just the praise of being like the best AEW pay-per-view ever, the best AEW show of the year. I can't get behind those statements.
No, I don't think so either. There wasn't really a 5-star match, so to speak, but there were a lot of great matches on the card. Speaking of which, the very first match of the evening, the steel cage match between Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus. I think this was one of those. I think this was a match that nobody expected to kind of be blown away with, and we come out with this being one of the top matches of the evening, in my opinion. What were your thoughts on the opener, Matt?
I think anybody who didn't expect this to be a good match doesn't remember the singles match they had on Dynamite like a month and a half ago, because that match was tremendous. So I knew they were going to deliver in the cage, and I definitely think they did. It was definitely I thought it was one of the I would say it was probably one of the best matches of the show. I mean, that's not a shot at like the rest of the event or anything, because I don't think there was a bad match on the show.
Well,
on Full Gear at all.
well,
but I mean, I really enjoyed the cage match.
There was one iffy
Are we gonna fight? Are we gonna fight later?
There's one iffy match on there, but
I guess we might be fighting later.
Well, I doubt we're going to be fighting, but there was one iffy match on there. Yeah, I would say the steel cage match, definitely a top 3 match of the evening. Of course, another match that was probably up there for match of the evening was the next match. I did not get to watch this live, but I went back and watched it Sunday afternoon, because the afternoon slate of NFL games just completely sucked. So I wasn't missing much there. So I put NFL Red Zone up on the other TV, watched Full Gear in the afternoon. And I was looking through Matt's tweets. Matt was, after I got done watching the show, went over, looked at Matt's tweets, Matt being surprised that the Elite was on this early at the second match.
Yeah, because they had the second match on All Out. So I was just like, there's no way they're going on second again. And for them to go on second twice, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
The result was pretty much the definition of why it went on early.
Yeah.
Because I think their idea behind that is that went on later, where normally where I would have placed the match, which for the record, I think the placement of the show sucked. I thought the match order was terrible on Saturday night, which is one of the things that took down my overall enjoyment of the show. But that match going on later, when the crowd's already tired, the Elite losing could have really deflated the crowd for the rest of the matches. So I get why they put it on where they did.
Yeah. But, of course, the entrance was great with busting out Kansas's "Carry On My Wayward Son." If you watch BTE, that of course returned today, you'll find out this was something they got literally last minute, the day before the pay-per-view. They got clearance to use this. This is from what interviews and post-media scrums and everything like that, sounds like it's going to be a one-off, at least for now. Could be used down the road, but not going to be a regular thing for the Elite, but still a very cool entrance. It fit.
According to Meltzer, this song will be used for their trios matches only. That it won't be used for the Young Bucks as a tag team or Kenny Omega as a singles or anything like that. He's claiming anytime that the 3 of them wrestle as a trios, they're going to be using this theme.
Khan said
I guess we'll find out this Wednesday.
Because Khan said something different.
They're facing Death Triangle, so
Tony Khan said something different in the scrum. So Tony made it sound like it was going to be a one-off that may be able to be used down the road. So.
No, he was definitely. No, I watched the scrum afterwards. He was definitely open to using.
Well, then whoever wrote the article on it, whoever wrote the article on that sucked then, because I got.
He didn't say it was a one-off, and he definitely seemed inclined that they would be using it again. So,
I actually had predicted the Elite to lose just because I just felt like them winning the titles right away from coming back just didn't feel right. And then I was right, because then you lead up. Phoenix finally cheats. Phoenix finally uses the hammer. Once he was set up into the one-winged angel, he realized there was nothing else he could do. Clocked Omega with the hammer, and they got the win. I kind of thought maybe that Phoenix was going to come around, and that's why I thought that Death Triangle was going to win. Little to my surprise, I realized this is going to kickstart a best of 7, which if we get what we just looking at the 6 guys that are in these matches, knowing these 6 guys, I know they're going to put something unique and interesting in all match. I'm assuming this will probably go 7, but they're going to put something.
If it doesn't go 7, I'll be shocked.
But they're going to put something unique to a unique twist on each of these matches. So I think this is not going to get tiresome. I think this is going to be. I absolutely love the idea that they put a best of 7 out here, just because of the simple fact that they can put something. These 6 guys can put something unique every time. Do you agree with that, Matt?
As long as the Elite come out of this with the titles, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I don't see any other way. But
I think the story. I think the story of this best of 7 is the swan song of the Death Triangle, because I do think Phoenix is going to regret cheating in this match, and by the time it's all said and done, like when this series is done, I think Death Triangle as a faction will be done as well.
Yeah, and then that also allows you to elevate Phoenix.
And there goes JB.
What?
Your video went out and you froze, and now you're back.
Oh, my end it's perfectly fine. So I didn't lose anything on my end.
Ask the chat. Did we lose JB for a minute, or was that just craziness on my end?
Yeah, nothing happened on my end. So thanks to everybody joining us live here as we lead up to Monday Night Raw. And of course, make sure to put your comments in on the chat. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of the pay-per-view, what your favorite match was, everything like that. Just post in the comments there. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, I'm excited to see a best of 7 out of these guys, because I think it's going to be very good. And then yeah, like I said, if Death Triangle do break up, Phoenix can get pushed to the I would say even main card level, maybe even challenge MJF, be a challenger for MJF down the road. Obviously Penta is another guy that can be. They were both this well-established singles guys before they came to AEW. So, and obviously we know about Pac too. So I think they're going to be fine either way. I don't really want to see them break up, but you never know. Can't be together forever either.
Yeah.
The only match that I thought was just okay was the TBS title with Jade and Nyla Rose. It was less than 10 minutes. It was okay. It just wasn't a pay-per-view level match, in my opinion.
Well, Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live today that he is hearing that somebody got hurt in the match, which probably screwed things up. I'm assuming it was Rose. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who. He didn't comment on who, but he's saying he heard that injury took place in that matchup on Saturday.
How badass was Jade Cargill coming up as Chitara from Thundercats?
She loves her cosplay pay-per-view attire. So
that was awesome. Yeah, there was one. There was one spot in the match where JR called it bowling shoe ugly. So it wasn't perfect, but Jade continues to be undefeated. God, who is going to beat her, man? Who is going to beat Jade Cargill? That's the big question. There ain't really, it's hard to say.
Mercedes Moné.
Statlander, maybe?
No, I'm sticking with Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné, huh?
Yep.
You think so, huh?
I do think so.
Well, she's not in the spoiler alert we have for Survivor Series, so
I'm just saying.
Where do you get the Monet from? Is that a trademark or something? Or
she filed trademarks for Mercedes Moné, Monet Talks,
Bullshit Walks,
Statement Maker, and something else. Like she filed her 4 different trademarks about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago.
Chambers thinks it's Statlander, but yeah, if Mercedes comes
I think if Statlander would have never gotten injured, I think she probably had it done. I think she would have done it already.
Yeah.
I think that was the plan.
Yeah.
But who knows how plans can change with, when injuries, come into effect on things like this. So
next up,
I do think that was the original plan. I think Statlander was going to be the one to take Jade out.
Next up was my match of the night, number 1 match of the night, Ring of Honor World Championship, Fatal 4-Way, Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Sammy Guevara. This was just from start to finish. So many side stories and face-offs and Sammy and Jericho getting into it, Bryan and Claudio getting into it, and I just enjoyed the whole match. It was my top match of the night, Matt.
I enjoyed the match a lot. I wouldn't give it top match of the night because It was so blatantly obvious to me going in who was going to win. So
yeah, that don't matter though. I mean, even though you might know who wins,
to me personally,
don't have to have a surprise win to have it be match of the night.
when a person's going in that I already freaking knows is a 100% lock to win, I'm not as emotionally invested, especially if that's somebody who I don't want to see be holding that championship to begin with. So, hey, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I still think it was kind of too bad that Jericho didn't hit the Judas effect perfectly during the airplane spin because that was supposed to be the finish, but then he hit another one. That didn't really hurt the finish at all, in my opinion. But yeah, I honestly thought it was match of the night when you look at match quality and everything like that. I thought everybody did a great job. Everybody had a moment where you thought maybe the near fall could fool you. That's a good thing about it. That's kind of the great thing about AEW. A lot of times, more times than not, they have so many good near falls that could fool you there. But Gamer Bear hoping the OGs would have pulled out the win, but yeah, there's a lot of OGs still left, and one guy that hopefully is coming.
I still think whoever he faces at Final Battle is taking the title off.
Yeah, Jay Briscoe would be cool. Obviously, Adam Cole would be cool if he reunites with the Kingdom. Obviously, Tony's going to keep Adam Cole in AEW.
I can't see them doing Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact, like, I feel they're going to announce their TV deal or streaming deal or whatever you want to call it at Final Battle. And I can't see them, because I feel like once the TV deal is announced, that ROH and AEW are finally going to be a lot more separated from each other.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see the ROH talents on AEW Dynamite and vice versa. Or at least it's going to be
sometimes you will.
It's going to be incredibly scaled back.
Very much.
I can't see them. I can't see them taking Adam Cole and putting him on Ring of Honor.
That makes sense.
If that makes sense.
And it makes sense in what you said last week with Jay Briscoe being the guy to take it off.
Yeah. Well, Adam Cole's a great pick.
Nigel can't wrestle anymore, can he?
Yeah, Nigel put out a tweet earlier this year. He basically stated he could wrestle again if he wanted to, along those lines. I don't have they'd like to direct Cole.
Obviously,
or whatever,
with Edge,
I definitely think we're going to see Nigel McGuinness in Tony Khan's Ring of Honor sooner rather than later. I definitely think that's going to happen.
He was great as the matchmaker too back in the day. When he couldn't wrestle, he's basically the authority figure, but not like over the top like WWE did it. And he was basically the matchmaker, and it was great. It worked well. That's surprising. Of course, yeah, never say never with Edge, Saraya.
Tony even name dropped him at the scrum on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's what Mark.
Not as in somebody who was coming in, but I mean he name dropped Nigel McGuinness and Desmond Wolfe, and I'm just like, oh, that's really interesting that you're bringing him up now.
No kidding.
So
Steven says Jericho and Samoa Joe. Well, Joe's got
that's the original direction I thought they were going. Yeah. I thought Joe was, when they put him on the poster and stuff, I'm like, oh, Joe and Jericho, that makes sense. But now Joe's got 2 freaking titles already.
How about Joe 3 belt? Fuck it, Joe 3 belts.
They're not doing that. It's probably going to be. They're probably going to run that match back. At Final Battle. It's probably going to be Joe, Wardlow, and Hobbs again, probably for the TV title instead of the TNT title.
I predicted Hobbs was going to come out the winner.
I did
of that
think
match.
Hobbs was going to win.
But
I did.
Saraya and
the funny part is I thought Joe was in there to take the fall. I'm like, they don't want him to have Wardlow lose, so they're going to let Hobbs beat Joe, and Joe left with both titles. I couldn't believe it.
We'll get there in a minute, but first, Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Very emotional moment for Saraya coming back to the ring for the first time in 5 years for a match. Very emotional, very, very understandable that she was emotional. Her brother at ringside, was really cool to see her brother at ringside. He was very emotional as well. And I tell you what, man, for being away for 5 years. And also credit to Britt Baker. They put together a very solid match with her return, in my opinion.
I thought for being off for 5 years, she did a great job. I thought her and Britt worked really well together.
Yeah.
And I think it's onward and upward for Saraya and AEW now. I think it's I honestly think the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
For what they might have planned for her, and I will tell you right now, I could practically guarantee at some point in the next calendar year, Zach Zodiac will be wrestling for AEW.
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't realize
that's going to happen.
I didn't realize he was still active.
Oh yeah, he's still active.
How old is he?
I don't know.
31. I'm quick
I was gonna say not much older than Saraya.
I'm
You
quick with
know
the
what?
trigger.
I could absolutely see Saraya and Zach Zodiac against Adam Cole and Britt Baker
That'd be badass.
in the future. I could totally see that going down.
Zach is 1 year older than Saraya.
Yeah, that dude's got a lot of career left on him. If AEW wants to take the chance on him and put him under a deal, or even spread him in for a handful of appearances, you don't even need to sign him. Just you bring people in for one-offs all the time.
So what we just had talked about, three big old men slapping meat between Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Wardlow. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a great match of three powerhouses, pun intended. I thought it was I just thought it was overall a very well done match with these guys. To be honest with you, it wasn't the match of the night by any means, but it was a very good pay-per-view quality match, in my opinion.
I loved this match, and I thought it was the most surprising winner on the show.
Yeah,
it was definitely the match where I like.
Well,
when Joe won, I'm like, whoa, okay, like
surprising winner.
If you want to go for surprising unexpected winner, this match hands down.
Surprising winner,
I agree with
surprising moment. That was at the end of the show for me.
I agree with what Mark Joe said about Britt protecting her with the stomp. If you noticed, both times when she hit Saraya with the stomp, she hit her like in her shoulder blades, like in her upper back instead of on the back of her head. And I thought that was very smart to do, because it's a better safe than sorry on a move like that. You don't want to be curb stomping someone's head and neck when the reason that they haven't worked for 5 years is because of their neck.
Yeah.
So
Samoa Joe leaving with 2 belts. That's not that's pretty dangerous if you're trying to get one of those 2 belts with a guy like that holding it. We had a backstage interview segment with Jake Hager and Chris Jericho. He loves that fucking hat. Jericho said he understood Sammy going after him. He's going to be a future world champion. So no problems in the JAS between those 2 guys. They are going to be together forever.
We'll see how Wednesday goes.
That's true. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen show up, and what the hell was Danhausen wearing? It looked like he was wearing Luchasaurus's suit.
Well, you didn't see 0 Hour.
No,
he came out in the very evil gimmick of Danhausen with new music and everything, and basically kicked everybody's ass.
Oh.
So it was pretty great.
I'll have to fire that up tomorrow.
He had the teeth. He had the teeth, JB. He put them in freaking. Oh, damn it. Nick Comoroto's mouth and super kicked them everywhere. It was great.
The dollar store Tony D'Angelo?
I don't think they're anything alike.
They keep dressing them like him.
I can't. I see no similarities between Tony D'Angelo and Nick Comoroto.
Nick Comoroto started dressing like Tony D months back. Chat, agree with me on that, please.
Please tell him he's out of his mind.
Orange Cassidy says he's got a friend that wants to fight Jericho for the ROH World title on Wednesday, and that is none other than Tomohiro Ishii. That is going to be a banger. There's a word that's been overused lately, but I'll say it. Then Jericho went into the history with Ishii being the young boy when Jericho was in Japan. And Hager asked what Orange has got in the bag, and Orange is like, you interested? And so that, hey, I like your hat too. Cool. No DQ matchup next. Sting, Darby Allin, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett. And no DQ, a lot of chaos, a lot of Sting jumping off balconies again. I thought I thought all 4 men did pretty good in this match. I thought it was a pretty solid match, in my opinion.
This was the match they could have cut from the show. It wasn't necessary. It at all. I just whatever. I saw a lot of people online like, oh, they need to cut a match or two. I'm like, this is the only match in the show I would have cut. Just wasn't necessary at all. And it looks like Sting's wrestling gear got lost in luggage or
Is that why
or something? I don't know. Like because he didn't even have wrestling pants on. Like it was literally like.
Well, it was like, a no DQ match, so.
Yeah, but still, like in a sweater and like black slacks, it was really weird. So, see, Marcho says you're crazy.
Yeah, but you pay him off, so it doesn't count.
How the hell do I pay him off? Yes, me and all my money, I paid him off.
Next up for the interim women's world title, Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm. I thought this was a very good women's match, and I'm very happy that that Jamie Hayter came out on top with that. Big celebration in the end with Rebel and Britt Baker coming out as well. I was very happy with that result, Matt.
Besides the some of the crazy overbooking at the end of the match, this was probably my favorite match on the show. I still don't think Tony should have dropped the title until I paying you shit, pal.
Just try to get you money, Mark Chill.
My God, you ass. I totally lost my train of thought. Hold on. I still don't think that Tony should have dropped the title until Thunder Rosa was back. I
have a feeling
with the convoluted history of the interim championship. As of right now, they don't even recognize Toni Storm as a title reign.
I have a feeling
for everything she's done in AEW since August.
Yeah.
Like how can you not count her reign?
Well,
because it was one of the honestly, it was one of the best AEW women's world title reigns we've ever had.
Well,
so
when you look at the Wikipedia page, it's still going to show the interim champion, so it's not like they're going to be erased from history. I honestly think Thunder Rosa is going to get stripped. I don't think she's close. I think Tony's going to strip her.
She's saying January.
Yeah. Chohausen loves the money.
I think if she's not back in time for Revolution, I think they might consider stripping her then. Revolution's like March 4th or March 5th. So she's not back by March 5th, I think. So if she's not back by then, yeah, there's absolutely an argument to strip her of the title.
AEW tag titles up next. Acclaimed, Swerve in Our Glory. We got some bonus raps from Max. That was nice. The match itself, I thought, was really good, but very predictable. Swerve and Keith Lee.
I thought it was the worst of the trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Comparing. Yeah.
I mean, I
thought
it
was a good match, though. I thought it was still a good match.
It was a good match, but compared it to the one they had it all out, the one they had at Grand Slam, I thought it was the worst match of the three.
And on top of that, we knew that Swerve and is going to turn on Keith, and we already saw that in the entrance, and we knew it was going to happen, and it happened. Keith Lee just let him. There
were also some people out there who were thinking that Swerve that Lee might come around and turn heel with Swerve, but I mean that would have been a retread of the Death Triangle match, essentially. Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't do that same booking twice in one show. So
they announced from here. They announced the best of 7 series. Match 2 will take place Wednesday night for the Thanksgiving Eve Dynamite. Match 3 the following Wednesday on Dynamite. Match 4 2 weeks later at Winter is Coming. Then followed by match 5, if necessary, at Holiday Bash. The Dynamite before Christmas. New Year's Smash for match 6 in Denver, Colorado on December 28th. And match 7 would be January 11th in LA, if necessary as well. Then we come up to the main event of the evening. Maxwell Jacob Friedman against Jon Moxley. Boy, if you couldn't tell here, you'd think MJF was the babyface and Mox was the heel. And basically, they both kind of worked it that way, too, in the match. And I thought this was a very good title match, and I saw some people saw it coming. I was completely surprised that Regal turned on Mox. I was surprised. How about you?
I thought they set it up pretty blatantly on Dynamite Wednesday night with the promo and everything. Like they set it up to see this coming.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was definitely a viable option. In this, the thing I don't like about it is it continues to terrify me that Paige is going to beat Starks on Wednesday, and then they're going to do the finger poke of doom, and winter is coming, and I'm going to hate that on so many fucking levels if they do that. I don't want them to do that, and I really need Starks to go over on Wednesday, because if Paige wins, I'm gonna be paranoid about that match.
I don't know, because I mean,
do it.
There was no firm at all in that match, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to lead to a finger poke of doom. Tony Khan knows better not to do that. I mean, that's what killed WCW. So I don't think they would do the finger poke of doom. I still kind of wonder now if MJF is with the firm, because Regal isn't with the firm. So maybe MJF is branched off with Regal by himself, and the firm is still an enemy, because they didn't even help him. They didn't come out at all.
To be fair, they didn't need to.
No. But
so I don't know, man. I really hope Starks wins on Wednesday, because if he doesn't, I'm going to be super nervous about how Winter is Coming's going to go.
Moving along from that great pay-per-view, let's go into some more headlines. There has been, if you don't want to be spoiled, which the spoiler may happen tonight, it may happen next week. So I guess you just earmuff.
There's no next week. Survivor Series is this Saturday.
That's right, this Saturday. So yeah, so earmuff it for like 5 minutes or something. But Fightful Select with an article out this afternoon that it sounds like the 5th and final member of Bianca Belair's team for Survivor Series is going to be none other than Becky Lynch. She has been expected to be back soon. Thankfully, was able to avoid surgery from the shoulder injury that she suffered, the separated shoulder at SummerSlam. And so they were expecting her to be back at around October or so. So it sounds like that she could be the 5th and final member for that team. Is this who are you excited for her to be on that team, or would you have wanted someone else like a Sasha Banks or Naomi?
I think Becky's the perfect choice. If you look at the history of these two sides, even though they didn't actually cause the injury, Damage Control wrote Becky Lynch off TV after SummerSlam. So Becky being the 5th to come in and be part of War Games makes perfect sense, and I'm very happy to see that. So.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to have her back in the fold, especially now in the Triple H era. What does she do? What is she the man again? Is it something different? Is she going to act like more like the crazy kind of like Seth Rollins type of character? You don't know what you're going to get with her. It's going with the Triple H era. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Do you think there's? I mean, it was a moneymaker. So do you think the man comes back?
Oh, absolutely. The man came back at SummerSlam, and she portrayed the man the following night on Raw before they did the injury layout. So yeah, no, that's the Becky Lynch we're going to be getting. And if WWE's smart, they announce they bring her out tonight. You don't go into Boston, Sasha Banks' hometown,
Boston,
with a mystery spot, because I don't give a damn who it is. If it's not Sasha, that person's gonna get booed. Like, you need to announce tonight that Lynch or anybody is the 5th person on that team if it's not Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, they would be making a gigantic mistake if they don't take care of that ahead of time. So hopefully we see Lynch tonight on Raw.
There's not really
whoever
much.
The 5th person is.
Yeah, and there's not really much to predict right now with Survivor Series. There's only 4 matches on the card. Bloodline against the Brawling Brutes. I would assume the Bloodline win. Well, or maybe
Sammy loses it for the Bloodline, and that's gonna
yeah,
put the wheels in motion of
yeah,
him
because
being
War
kicked
Games.
out and the tag match happened, because Sami Zayn guaranteed victory for the Bloodline on SmackDown on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to come back to haunt him because he's going to cost Bloodline that match. He's going to
Yep.
be the one that eats the
He'll, like,
pinfall
or
in
taps
that
out.
match, or taps out. Like, either way, he's going to be the one to cost the Bloodline that match, and Reigns is not going to be happy about it.
And then the women's War Game match. I would have Damage Control win it with Rhea and Nikki.
I don't know if you can if Becky's in it.
It's a War Games match, so it's not an elimination match where somebody's going to have to get pinned to get eliminated. So
yeah, but I just don't know if you bring Becky back in her first match to lose either.
Yeah, it's not like she's been gone for 2 years, so I think she could be fine with losing that match.
I also don't know if you want the heel faction on both sides to win War Games either.
Well, we just said the Bloodline's going to lose.
Fair.
I definitely don't see Shotzi beating Ronda.
No, absolutely not.
And I think you got to keep the Judgment Day strong and have Balor win against AJ. But that's going to be a fucking hell of a match.
I'd prefer AJ to win, but I think Balor's going to go over.
So that'll be interesting to see. We got ourselves a treat last night because it was the return of the party. Of course, if you remember, during the pandemic on Up, Up, Down, Down, every Wednesday, a new episode would start of a something they tested out as the 4 guys, Cesaro, a.k.a. Swiss, Tyler Breeze, Adam Cole, a.k.a. Chugs, Austin Creed, a.k.a. Xavier Woods. They all started to play Uno, and little did they know how much we would be entertained by this, Matt.
Dude, I had a rough day yesterday, so the party coming back to end the day was very, very welcome, and it was good to see those guys again. If you notice, the only person who didn't stream it was Woods, so I think that's probably part of the agreement.
Did
that's
Tyler
been laid
stream?
down?
I know Cesaro. I know Claudio did, but
yeah, everybody streamed except for Woods.
I watched on Chubbs' channel.
I'm assuming that means that the WWE Triple H's stance on this is you can go do this, but you can't put it on the
up down
the up down platform. And look, if that's what's needed to get the party back together, great. Who cares?
And they talked about creating their own Twitter account or YouTube account for this as well, which could be possible. Because of course this is on Twitch, so this only stays up for I think 14 days, if I'm not mistaken. So they did talk at the end of the show. The show went about 3 hours last night. I will not spoil the winner. But there was one very fucking long match that went about 50 minutes. But the overall show was 3 hours. They did some talking for the first half hour. Just kind of it was great to just hear them talk and actually, what they said was, this is basically you're seeing the whole thing behind the scenes, because of course Up, Up, Down, Down, it was edited down. You didn't hear them talking as they got online to set up the game. You did not hear them at the end of the game or end of the stream. They talked a little bit there too. What you got was completely unedited, disconnections and all. There was unfortunately an online disconnection in one of the games, but only happened once. That was good.
One time.
But it was very very entertaining if you were a fan. I don't know how many Breeze and Claudio had on their channels. Adam Cole had like a solid near 3,000, and literally 2 hours later maybe a couple hundred less. So a lot of the people that got in stayed for the long haul on Adam Cole's stream. It was highly entertaining. They're talking about making it a weekly thing, and so hopefully that is the case. And of course, if you can't tune in on Sunday night, it sounds like they're going to put it on YouTube. It maybe make a YouTube channel possibly as well. So it was a very welcome welcome return. And if you were a fan of the original, this was definitely an entertaining 3 hours of Uno with those guys, right, Matt?
For sure.
Of course, one of the big stories going into Full Gear was the return of the Elite. Kenny Omega, as well as the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks recently were interviewed talking about speaking on being the Elite, about discussing their return to the company and everything like that. Of course, being the Elite came back itself this afternoon at noon Eastern. So if you've been missing that show, that came back as well. So, but basically what they had said during the BTE here, Matt, is about the hardest 2 months of their lives because, well, for one, they could not entertain us on AEW and they couldn't entertain us on being the Elite. What were your thoughts on the return of being the Elite today?
It's like they never left. I was very happy to have,
especially with Dark Order.
I was very happy to have being the Elite back today, and yeah, nothing but respect for those two guys and everything that they've had to go through over the last couple months. Glad they're back. Glad Kenny's back.
And on
onward and upward from there.
And on BTE, when they were showing the highlights of the trios match, they didn't. They made sure to highlight the "fuck CM Punk" chant. Workers shoot. You tell me.
Man, still on the AEW roster.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
It was great to see BTE back. So we got the party back and BTE back all within a 12-hour period. Matt, life is good, isn't it?
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
A very hefty 30-minute show there, so go check that out. I thought it was very entertaining. I actually caught it right before we went on the air. Next up here, going through our headlines, we got Ring of Honor to talk about now. Tony Khan, during the AEW Full Gear Media Scrum, talked about the future of televising Ring of Honor, as obviously we're coming up on hopefully a resolution or something like that. And what he said, he basically Tony Khan stated that, easily Ring of Honor could do a YouTube show, but it deserves better than that. I don't know about you, Matt, but first thing I thought of there was he's taking a shot at Billy Corgan, isn't he?
I think his mindset is once potential partners see the series as something that's being aired on YouTube, they can't get it out of their mind.
Yeah.
That it's a YouTube show.
Yeah.
So I think Tony's mindset is if we start as a YouTube show, we have to stay as a YouTube show because we're not going to be able to get a deal for someone to take us off of YouTube. So I think that's what he's been waiting for. And I do think we get that announcement at Final Battle. And I do think ROH is going to HBO Max. So I think we're just a few weeks away from knowing that for sure.
It'd be very cool to see. Another report came out. There's so many stories, especially AEW related, coming out of the pay-per-view. We did have to cut this one story, but I was going to talk about how an executive within Warner Media is very, very confident that AEW is going to get re-signed. I don't think there was any doubt about that. But of course, the Discovery merger did put some doubts into some of those things. But
I never had a doubt that this was going to happen. People panic over nothing, just like Twitter was dying last week.
Yeah, Twitter did not die.
I'm shocked.
Wrapping up headlines this week with a happy note. And oh my God, does this make me effing happy. Takeshita, one of the big stars, one of the big, I would say, rising stars of 2022. He's had nothing but tremendous matches with AEW and coming over from DDT Pro. And it was made official on 2 days ago on Saturday afternoon that Takeshita is all elite. This is something I have been personally begging for ever since he left the United States to go back to Japan. And I'm happy that it's official, Matt.
It's a long time coming. I didn't know when this deal was going to be done because I didn't know what his contractual status with DDT was.
Yeah.
But now that it's a done thing, I think it's great because he's done nothing but tremendous work for AEW over the past year.
Yeah.
And I think he's a very valuable addition to the roster.
Yeah, I am very excited. I knew very little of him before he came to AEW, but he instantly impressed me with his ability in the ring. Dare I say, is he like one of the most impressive Japanese superstars since Okada? I don't know, but he's very young, but has done a lot in that short period of time, and has done nothing but impress, being over here in the United States. So that very happy to see that. All right, we have 15 minutes until that thing right there, Monday Night Raw. But let's quickly recap last week's show. Matt, it almost seems like we're going back to Raw is shit and SmackDown is good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't even want to talk about last week's episode of Raw.
Well, there ain't much to talk about, but
it wasn't good, dude. And SmackDown on Friday was another really good. Another really good episode of SmackDown. I don't know what's going on. I'm begging for a good episode of Raw tonight heading into Survivor Series.
Where the Raw preview has one thing.
Well, I just read the Fightful one. So
all right, well, we'll pull that up here. We'll talk about
it
that.
Sounds better than last week. That's not a high bar.
Well, Raw's preview
sounds better than last week.
Raw's preview had absolutely one thing: Oscar Rhea Ripley for War Games advantage, and that was
that's close in the show, by the way.
Matt,
so that to me that increases the likelihood of the 5th participant being announced at the end of the night.
Some of the high points, though, on Raw, Chad Gable getting a win over Riddle. Maybe this is a start of Gable getting a push, or Gable and Otis.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, but again, we're under different management now, Matt, and maybe Gable is finally starting to break through. We don't know. The Miz, Gargano, Dexter Lumis stuff, I think, has still been kind of interesting. I've enjoyed that stuff. But overall,
I want it to go away so bad.
Well, that's going to happen here, and not this week. Next week, is that the match? The Miz and Dexter's next week, right?
I don't know if that's supposed to be on Raw or Survivor Series. The promo was so damn confusing.
It sounded like Raw.
No one really seemed that they knew for sure when that was going to happen.
It sounded like 2 weeks. I thought a week.
I think we'll know for sure. I think we'll know for sure tonight. So
I thought it was a week from tonight. Dolph Ziggler, Austin Theory, though, had a hell of a match. And I'm going to talk about Austin Theory for a minute, because that's about the only thing that really to talk about out of here was Austin Theory. I think the evolution of Austin Theory from this goofy ass selfie guy to now a legit threat. I know Matt's not going to agree with me because he doesn't like the guy. I thought Theory evolved really well on Monday. Matt's not going to agree with me, but he never agreed with me on Nick Aldis until about 8 years later. So maybe 8 years from now, Matt will come around on Austin Theory. But for now, he's going to take a nap. Speaking of taking a nap, NXT this week started out with Braun Breaker and Jan Wagner. Thank God Jan didn't win.
No one even thought for a second he was going to win. That's why it opened the damn show.
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know why. Zoe Stark
because HBK's drunk. That's why.
Zoe Stark cut a promo. She's not the best at cutting promos, but hey, it's okay. Do you buy that Duke Hudson is being genuine with Andre Chase?
No. It's like I didn't buy MJF's face shtick either.
Well, Thea Hale likes to think so, but she's young and naive, so we'll just put it at that. Into Sheer reunited and destroyed a couple of jobbers. And Apollo Crews, JD McDonough had a hell of a match, though. That with Apollo Crews getting the win there. Apollo Crews probably going to be your next contender for Braun Breaker. Probably the Deadline opponent, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think it's him and Braun at Deadline.
Then we got the contract signing between Wesley and Carmelo Hayes. I expect Wesley to win this match. This will probably be a Deadline match as well. I expect Wesley to win this match to be kind of the solidifying title win for Wesley. You agree?
I think he needs it, and I think Carmelo should have been on the main roster yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope Wesley retains, because you're doing that kid a tremendous disservice if he doesn't.
What did you think of this Iron Survivor Challenge?
I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible.
It's absolutely confusing.
How in the hell is the last entrant expected to win this match?
Right?
Like, the odds are so
right
against them to be able to win. It's almost an impossibility.
Here are the rules. 5 superstars compete in a 25-minute match. They will battle each other and the clock. 2 superstars start, and every 5 minutes a new superstar will enter the match until all 5 are in the ring. The goal is to have the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes. A fall can be won anytime by a pinfall, submission, or DQ. When a superstar scores a fall, they will earn a point. However, when a superstar loses a fall, that superstar must pay the penalty. They are forced out of the ring and into a penalty box for 90 seconds. Once the 90 seconds are up, the superstar can re-enter the match. The superstar who has the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor and become the number 1 contender for the NXT Championship and Women's, respectively.
They do realize Jeff Jarrett's working for AEW now, right?
I don't know.
Because this sounds like something that would have came out of Jeff Jarrett's TNA.
No, they did the penalty box thing there, didn't they?
Yeah, King of the Mountain. This match sucks, dude. It's going to be awful. Awful, awful, awful.
Then the main event was Last Woman Standing with Alba Fire, Mandy Rose. Oh, maybe this is when Mandy Rose finally loses the title. Nope. As LaDawn makes her debut or return to NXT and costs Fire the match. I guess Toxic ain't getting called up anytime soon, huh?
Or she loses it to whoever wins it. Whoever wins the number 1 contendership at Deadline.
Yeah.
I feel if Roxanne wins a Deadline, that's gonna be who wins the title from her.
Yeah. SmackDown started off with the Brutes and Drew. They said they'll unveil their 5th member later. Sami Zayn then came out, as we mentioned earlier, and guaranteed a win. Kiss of death there for Sami Zayn. World Cup quarterfinals, Ricochet and Mustafa Ali. Of course, we all knew Ricochet was going to get the win there because Bobby Lashley beat Ali's ass on Raw, and he was still wearing tape to sell that. So Ricochet gets to face Braun Strowman in the next round, Matt.
I want Ricochet to win so bad.
With a flippy move.
Yes, with all the flippy moves.
Win with a flippy move.
And the only way I want Braun Strowman to win this match is if he wins it with a moonsault. That's the only way Braun Strowman's allowed to win this match, if he wins it with a moonsault.
Yeah. Madcap and Karrion Kross had another match. Of course, now we're pairing off real-life couples there because Emma's joining Madcap. Then we had Bray Wyatt come out.
As long as that leads to Scarlet Wrestling, I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt came out, interrupted by LA Knight. And if you ever find that gif of LA Knight running for the hills after he slapped Bray Wyatt, that was so funny. They did it again, and then you got the look on Bray Wyatt that made another meme there. I thought this was a tremendous segment, Matt. I like where they're going with the feud. And, Bray Wyatt paid for those slaps, didn't he?
Well, Bray Wyatt didn't pay.
Or, I mean, LA Knight paid for those slaps, didn't he?
I think Bray Wyatt made LA Knight pay for those slaps.
Boy, yeah. I liked when they showed Uncle Howdy in the shadows as he had the door open. And we all knew LA Knight was going to go for a nap after that. I'm liking what they're doing with those guys. I think.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Shayna took care of Shotzi thanks to Raquel evening up the odds. Then we had New Day against Imperium, and their surprise guest was Braun Strowman. Did they just spoil the winner of the World Cup here, or are we going to get a flippy win?
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm very much worried about.
And not only Matt, but a lot of people in the wrestling WWE universe were absolutely pissed off that you have Gunther running away from Strowman. That should not happen.
Yeah. It sucked.
That universally was panned. Like, not just from my circle of friends, but I saw that all over the place. People thought that was bad booking right there. But Butch took on Sami Zayn in the other quarterfinal match, and pretty damn good match there. And so we'll have probably a damn good match coming up next week on this week on SmackDown with Butch and Santos Escobar. I think that's going to be a real good match. Hopefully they get a little time there, and hopefully Ricochet beats Braun, because if Braun wins, he's going to beat Butch or Santos. So, though Braun and Butch might be a fun match to watch, don't you think?
I don't know. I'd rather see Butch and
Ricochet.
Butch and Ricochet.
I just want to see Ricochet beating him with a flippy move, and of course they had the brawl and everything going all haywire at the end. And your fifth, which I predicted, you predicted, we all predicted, the fifth member of the Brawling Brutes, Kevin Owens. Big pop for him. I mean, the pop that and response that Owens got, he took to Twitter and Facebook just saying how blown away he was with the response that people gave with his return. So I thought that was a very cool moment, don't you think?
Yeah, it was good shit.
Monday Night Raw. We're going to get some promos, and we got Gargano versus Miz. Ali taking on Theory. The Alpha Academy taking on Elias and Matt Riddle. Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. Then, of course, the War Games Advantage match. Alba Fire, Grayson Waller working main event tonight. Looks like we get a promo that's going to lead into a interpromotional match. I will not spoil, but that interpromotional match might be a lot of fun. But hey, that does look like a better Raw, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it reads like a much better Raw than last week, and I hope it will be.
We were groaning last week.
Let's go watch it together, shall we?
We were groaning this time last week, weren't we?
Because that rundown last week was shit. And the show ended up being pretty damn shitty.
And and finally, the AEW looking ahead to AEW Dynamite. Only 4 things announced, which is rare. Usually Tony has a lot more announced, but Orange Cassidy, Jake Hager taking for the All Atlantic Championship. Ethan Page, Ricky Starks in the World Title Eliminator Final. ROH World Champion Jericho taking on Tomohiro Ishii. And then match 2 of the best of 7 between Death Triangle and Elite. This sounds like a damn good Dynamite, doesn't it?
They normally only have 5 matches of Dynamite, so they don't need to announce one more. And it'll be whatever the women's match.
I think they announce a lot of this guy's going to speak and that guy's going to speak too. Like the graphic is a lot more cluttered than it normally is.
I think the last match is like whatever the women's match is going to be.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, the porn bots are here.
I just saw that. Wow, we are. Have we made it?
We made it. The porn bots were here.
We Gunther should have flippy move. That would have been funny to see Gunther with a flippy move. Well, it's time for you to.
Gunther could pull off a flippy move.
Well, it's time for you to head to Monday Night Raw once again. Thank you for tuning into Lost in Midcard. Matt, any final thoughts?
Yes, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh yeah,
fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's see it. I want to see I want to see the American Dragon at Wrestle Kingdom as well. So. Let's start building that card.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're in Seattle January 4th. He's going to be at Dynamite.
Boo. All right. Well, I tried. So for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you to tuning in to Lost the Midcard, brought to you by Bet Online.